I came to New Orleans and I heard the words Musicians Clinic. When I heard those two words, I said, what did you just say? Musicians Clinic? Because I had been worrying about it so much. What's going to happen if I get sick? You know, I can't just lie there until I get better like a deer or something. So that really was something that changed my life, just those two words. And it wasn't long after I moved here in the winter of '99 that I got sick. And I said, well, let's try this Musicians Clinic out. And
how did it work for you?
It worked very well.
It's about caring for people. It's a simple thing when you break it down. And the sincerest form of being real is to be there for people.
So through the clinic's mental health programs, I was able to work through issues that I've been dealing with for a long time. A lot of issues I already knew that I had, but by going through all this process, I discovered a lot of issues that were well beneath the surface that have really helped me cope with all the other issues I've been dealing with for so long. And I feel like my life is bettered for this therapy.
There's no retirement plan for musicians. There is no anything for musicians that comes with any other form of work.
For instance, my own brother Charles Moe plays bass in the band with me. He had a heart attack on stage at the Jazz Festival a few years ago. And if it were not for the Musicians Clinic and the assistance that they provided from with his medical bills, his doctors, and the ambulance service that saved his life, he might not be alive today.
Catherine Lesperche at the Musicians Clinic was the first to get me in to see a dermatologist who diagnosed me due to a rash on my face with systemic lupus. And later it was found out that I had systemic lupus with central nervous system involvement, which meant I had been having mini strokes at 26 years old. So thanks to the Musicians Clinic, I am now in treatment for my lupus and also seeing a neurologist to keep track of my brain activity and to make sure I'm not suffering any more brain damage.
It was a life-saving experience for me. Before I was diagnosed with diabetes, I used to be on a gig with no energy and other symptoms that is related to diabetes. I was given information about the Musicians Clinic, where I was diagnosed and treated properly, and and if I hadn't gone there, who knows, I might would have, had a stroke, or I might would have had a heart attack or whatever. But I tell you, it has really been a life-saving experience.
One of the musicians in my band, another drummer, his name is Ivan Alexander. He had he needed like eye surgery. It was a $10,000 surgery, and the clinic paid for that.
I know a lot of musicians who really don't have insurance, because it's like gigging, like anybody can call you just to come do a gig, and then we have a lot of street musicians that play on the street, and they don't have any coverage. So the only money that they really make is the money that they make on that particular gig.
No matter how you break it down, what the Musician Clinic does is dispense health, care, and there is no side attachments to the contract.
I know so many people who get their health through the Musicians Clinic. Without the New Orleans Musicians Clinic, I think that the New Orleans music community would be devastated. So many of them either can't get insurance because they can't afford it, or if they're like me, because their health care prohibits them getting insurance, they would be left without anything.
The Musicians Clinic plays an important role in their lives because, as you know, music is a very important component of the engine that drives tourism, that is responsible for a lot of the revenue that supports the city services and supports New Orleans. And if we don't address the health care of the musicians who are primarily responsible for bringing in those tourist dollars that support the city of New Orleans, well, we're going to kill the goose that laid the golden egg, and we don't want to do that.